Welcome back, Dolph fans. So we're going to be talking about something today that I have been waiting for since 3 years ago. It seems to be that the tension, obviously, if you watched my video yesterday, Tyreek Hill said another stupid thing. And now that I'm kind of looking back at the whole scenario and what happened, I feel like the Dolphins are going to do something that I think I'd say like maybe half the fan base is been looking forward to for a very long time. And what it is we're going to go back to when Waddle was in college. And I have said this multiple times on my channel that if you watch Waddle in college and his rookie year, it's like a different version of him than the one that we've gotten. And I know he's had explosive plays and all that, but it's a different confidence that he had. When we were in Alabama and Waddle was there, pretty much Waddle was becoming the number one dude on that Alabama team all the way up until the high ankle sprain. And then it basically became Devontae Smith. And, that's why Waddle was drafted so high. In fact, that's why Waddle was drafted higher than Devontae Smith, is because people were seeing that year the type of plays that Waddle was making. He was going to be the number one guy. It's just he got the high ankle sprain and he started, struggling to be on it. He ended up trying to come back at the end of the year, towards the end of the game of the championship game, but just couldn't really do it. But when you watch back in the day what Waddle was like, it was a different player. And why I'm saying this is you get into this league and you're a rookie and you have an explosive rookie year where basically he's being compared to Jamar Chase, like similarly. Jamar Chase had more yards and everything, but Waddle had more receptions. So you go into that year and you're like, bam. This dude is a stud. You started seeing he's a stud just as a rookie. He's literally, people are trying to think that Waddle can't be the number one. If you go back to the rookie year, I understand he's a rookie, but at that year, Devontae Parker was off injured. The offense was Jaylen Waddle. That pretty much was the offense. People knew that he was like the only offensive player that we had on that team. So when you go back to that, he was taking on, the brunt of the offense typically every single game in his rookie year and still succeeding, and of course we had to crap everything, so couldn't do the most that he was trying to do. And then that next year, it was supposed to be that we signed, I think it was Cedric Wilson, probably going to get someone else, but Waddle was going to be the number one dude. And what did we end up doing? We signed Tyreek Hill. And what that eventually led to was Waddle became Robin instead of being Batman, where when he came into the league, it very, very much so looked like it was going to be like Tua and Waddle. That was going to be the connection. It was just Tua and Waddle the whole time, kind of like a Amon-Ra St. Brown type of style, where it was going to be like that, where it was just going to be the guy that you just funnel the ball to and he gets open all the time. First year, it was great. They were very similar in stats, but the next year it started being like, it's Tyreek Hill and Tua and then, Waddle's over there. And that's what I think started getting to him. And what a lot of people are saying is that, especially after what happened at that last game, Waddle is kind of fed up with the whole Tyreek Hill thing, because it's all like this emotional, roller coaster that you have going with this dude. And honestly, what I'm starting to hear right now is that Tua and Waddle are starting to get fed up with Tyreek Hill, which is leading to something that I think is going to be amazing coming to this year, because I'm a huge Waddle fan. I even remember my whole family back in the day, nobody knew about Waddle. And I remember watching Waddle's highlights at Alabama, and it was like Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase. And I honestly was like, bro, I want to get Waddle. Like, this dude looks ridiculous. I remember it was like one catch where he was in between two defenders and he still brings it down. Like, the drops are just because he doesn't have the same confidence, because he wants to be the number one guy. And Tyreek Hill is this emotional roller coaster that, especially when you're coming into this season and you start seeing, obviously, Tua and McDaniel calling Tyreek out, where you're seeing that your number one guy is like messing up routes. He's not running the right routes, and it's causing interceptions. And you're the dude on the sideline going like, why is he still here? So at the end of it, you start seeing now with all the stuff that's coming out, constant headache, Waddle wants to be the number one dude. And I think what's going to happen this coming season, like I said, you can't keep a wide receiver that just literally spit in your quarterback's face. I don't care what, like he literally said he wants to be traded from this team. He hates this team, doesn't like the coach, and now he is talking crap about his quarterback. You're not going to keep that guy on the team, and what that's leading to is every Dolphins fan, you're going to see a breakout year from Tua and Waddle. I think their connection is way better. I think Waddle runs better routes, and I think every time in clutch moments, Tua is going to Waddle. I think that's the way it is. And again, people are tending to forget it's not just Waddle that we have on this offense. People are forgetting that we have Jonnu Smith. You know what I'm saying? We have Malik Washington. We have Devon Achane. We have a lot of weapons. We don't need Tyreek Hill. For the most part, a lot of those plays that we had this year, Tyreek Hill caused interceptions. So when you look at this, I'm telling you right now, that Tua and Waddle connection is going to be legit. And I think now it's time that you're going to get rid of Tyreek Hill. I truly believe that he just kind of sent out, when he was talking on the Snapchat, he sent out all the trade destinations that he wants to go to: the Buccaneers, Ravens. Obviously, we're not going to send him to the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. All the destinations that he'd want to get traded to. But like I said, when you start seeing how this is unfolding, Tua and Waddle are getting fed up with Tyreek Hill. They're fed up with him. They're sick of him. He comes to practice late, doesn't run the right routes. It's been a continual thing this last year. And I think what that's going to lead to is that Tua and Waddle are going to really take on that connection. And like I said, Jonnu Smith is still there. Jonnu Smith is Jonnu Smith. He gets opened. It is 100%. It's not like we have no other weapons. But I've been waiting to see this since Waddle, had his rookie year. I truly was a believer that Waddle could have, definitely taken us to that next level, and we could have gotten some pieces around him. The reason that Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase right now is because you have a T. Higgins. You didn't get, a Stephon Diggs, or you didn't get a, Justin Jefferson to go alongside him so that he would be second fiddle, because that takes a toll on when you get drafted in the first round. And literally top 10, you get drafted. And you're playing Robin. When you're drafted that high as a wide receiver, you're supposed to be Batman. You're supposed to be the lead guy. You're supposed to be the number one dude. And I think that's taken a toll on Waddle, because he thought that he was going to be the number, especially when not only did you get drafted high, your rookie season was stellar. It was one of the best rookie seasons that we've ever had in Dolphins history. You think at that point, all right, I'm going to be the dude here. I performed. I did what I needed to do. I had 100 freaking receptions my rookie year against all sorts of defenses. I'm going to be the number one guy. And you get Tyreek, and you still think probably it's going to be a 1A, 1B. And the first year it was 1A, 1B. And then these next couple of years, it was just all Tyreek all day. And you're just Waddle on the sidelines. That's what you are. And the best part about it is he never quit, but the problem is that your confidence starts taking a toll, because he I don't care what, there's some reporters that say he's not ready to be no, he wants to be the number one. It's just he can't, because it's always been about Tyreek. Now this year, if you get rid of Tyreek, Waddle's going to be the number one dude. He's going to be the guy that gets the brunt of the passes. He's going to be the number one read on most of the plays. And I'm telling you right now, if you watch Waddle, if you watch him compared to what Tyreek Hill does, Waddle is a better route runner, and he's more agile with the ball. Now, of course, Tyreek Hill is a little bit faster, sure, but Waddle's still very fast. Waddle is literally Tyreek Hill, but slightly bigger, and his route running is better. I don't care. You can argue with me all day, but I'm going to sit here and tell you, if you watch Waddle run routes on some of the players that Tyreek cannot get open on, he's not just speed. He runs very crisp routes. He gets open a lot. It's just when you notice, and honestly, you can go back to some of the film breakdowns, you'll see that it's just Tua doesn't look his way. He's constantly looking at Tyreek. And that's been the problem, because Tyreek will start crying if you don't look his way. But Waddle runs amazing routes. And I think now that they're both fed up, including the coach and the general manager, are all fed up with Tyreek Hill, I think there's going to be a conversation coming in now where it's going to be like, Waddle, you ready to take this over? And he's going to go, I've been waiting since he drafted me. And he's going to take over the number one role. And I think we're going to have a significant jump for Waddle and Tua, because of the trust. I don't think that Tyreek Hill ever really had the trust of Tua like Waddle does. I think Waddle has, it's a different dynamic. You know, when you see wide receiver and quarterback like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, they have a trust, you know, and it's like he knows where he's going to be at all times. You've seen it with all the top guys, you know. It's been since Dan Marino, it's been since, you know, Joe Montana and all of these different quarterbacks. They get the receiver that they trust completely. There's no trust with Tyreek Hill. But with Waddle, there's a difference because, again, you're going to be getting Tyreek Hill. Jaylen Waddle's a stud. I don't care what anybody wants to say. And, of course, people will mention the drops. I get it. But, of course, he is frustrated because he's playing number 2. He's getting 3 targets some games. Like, there were legit games where Tyreek Hill had 12 targets and Jaylen Waddle had, like, 2. You know how frustrating that's going to be as a dude that's $100 million player, that's a first-round pick, that was coming out of college, was one of the best receivers coming out of college, played amazing, had a historic rookie year, and you have games right now where you're getting 2 targets. That's why he's like that. But him coming out now, being the number 1 guy, it's going to be completely different because all of the things that I said, plus Tua trusts Waddle. He trusts him. He knows where he's going to be. He's been with him since Alabama. That was the point of drafting him. And it's going to lead to probably a much better year from Tua because he trusts the receivers now. Tyreek Hill is a case and a half. Now you have Jonnu. You know, you can scan the field. We have a better offensive line. I think people are very much so underestimating the year that Waddle's going to have if we get rid of Tyreek Hill. And I am looking forward to it. Like and subscribe. Fins up, baby. Peace.